It's 10 o'clock and we'd like to get started. I know there'll be a few other people kind of trickling in. But welcome to our 2011 conference, Nonprofit Leadership Conference here at Camp Allen. And this year we have the topic of the art and science. Can y'all hear me okay? The art and science of collaborative leadership. And how many of you have been to these conferences before? Right? And how many new folks we've got this time? Wow. Okay. Well, for those of you that I have not met already, I'm Celine Meyer, Director of Grants and Evaluation for St. Luke's Episcopal Health Charities. And we're just so delighted that all of y'all can be here with us today. We started these conferences in 2007. We started with 14 nonprofit agencies and about 35 participants. Today, we've got 94 participants and 31 nonprofit agencies represented. And those nonprofit agencies, those community-based organizations, annually manage over $345 million a year. So there's a lot of power in this room. We have a real diverse group with us here today. We have consultants, we have nonprofit agencies, we've got funders, and we've got executive directors, board members, and staff. So all of y'all are focused on delivering services to the underserved, health and social services to those most in need in your communities. And we greatly appreciate your service to them. And thank you for all that you do each day. We also have our grant-making friends here, and we appreciate y'all being here today as well. It's wonderful that you've taken the time to share with us and with others here your wisdom and your insights into the nonprofit world, and we appreciate you being here. This year and the last several years have been quite challenging for both grantees, people looking for grants, and people giving grants, because we've both been challenged to do more with less. So we appreciate y'all so much for taking the time to be here. But first, before we get started with the conference, we'd like to start with a prayer from our bishop. Now, the bishop is in great demand. He's here at Camp Allen, but he's participating in 2 different events. So he may be popping in and out as needed, as his time allows. And he's incognito. He has no purple on. So we'll have to, if those of you that don't know him, we'll have to wrangle him in for you. But he has graciously provided us with a video with a prayer and welcome. And we would like to show that to you now. Thank you.
Welcome to this year's Nonprofit Leadership Conference. Let us begin with prayer. Almighty and most merciful God, we remember before you all poor and neglected persons whom it would be easy for us to forget. The homeless and the destitute, the old and the sick, and all those who have none to care for them or pray for them. Help us to heal those who are broken in body or spirit and turn their sorrow into joy. All of these things we ask in your name. Amen. Each of you lives this prayer on a daily basis. As leaders in the nonprofit sector, I would guess each of you are driven by something greater than monetary reasons. I would guess your dedication to your mission comes from something much deeper. I would say that comes from God. You may say a higher power. Regardless, each of us is driven by a desire to make the world a better place through service to others. And how did each of you decide on this path? Embedded within each of you are strong core values and ideals that motivated you to a life of service, perhaps put there by your higher power. In the Episcopal Church, we say it was put there by Jesus Christ. So here we are together, however you got here, to discuss collaborative leadership. How does that translate to service and passion for those less fortunate? I would suggest to each of you that collaborative leadership is grounded in respect for others and the belief that we are stronger together than we are alone. You don't have to take on all the burdens of the world alone, but simply reach out and engage other like-minded individuals. Be open to receive, and you will be amazed at what can be accomplished as a community devoted to the poor and the neglected. The Charities holds this annual conference to provide an opportunity to renew our commitment to care for the neglected while nurturing our own spirit. Each of you has at your core the value and appreciation for others. Because of the spiritual nature of our missions, we cannot help but to keep our spirituality top in our mind in all that we do. This conference offers this perfect opportunity to step away from the day-to-day and also to reflect upon the broader mission to serve others who are in need and who in this time desperately need our care. I urge each of you to take this time over the next hours and days to embrace our shared spirituality and to renew your commitment to transforming the lives around you. I am a grateful bishop and so very thankful for everything that you do in your mission, but most of all in coming and being present with us in this conference, and pray that you will get out of it some small portion of what you give to others each and every day.
Susan, you can see why we feel that at the Charities we're so very fortunate to have the bishop as our chair. I'd like to give you just a rundown of the day's activities before we introduce our first speaker, who is our Executive Director of the Charities, Dr. Patricia Gale Bray. We believe we've got a great conference planned for you guys today. Y'all all have packets at your tables, and in those packets you'll see the agenda. We've got a listing of the participating organizations with information about each organization and a contact, either email or website. We've also got some information as far as the panelists, the bios on them. And we have one of the most important things for the Charities is the evaluation forms in there. So if all of y'all can help me to remember to ask y'all to turn those in at the end of the day, there's a very special little gift we have for you. So thank you for doing that in advance. We also have, like I said, a great program starting with Dr. Bray, or Gail as we call her. She will be talking about the art and science of collaborative leadership. Then I will be back to give the goals of the conference and start y'all off on your first collaborative exercise, which is putting together those little puzzles you see on your table. Then we'll have a break. I know, don't get started ahead and don't get too excited about that. But we also will have a break then, come back, and then we'll have our first panel, which is our leadership luminaries, moderated by Gail. And then I'll be back for the lunch breaks. And then we have our second panel after lunch. During lunch, we have a wonderful speaker, Celeste Harrison from NEHOP. And after lunch, we have another wonderful panel. So it's a full day, but I think we've put in enough breaks and time for people to get some networking opportunities. And we're looking forward to y'all learning from each other as we will be learning from you during these sessions. So, to introduce Gail, it's my pleasure to do this. Gail Bray is our Executive Director. She started in 1997 at the Charities as Director of Research. And in 2003, she became our Executive Director. And no one else is a better example of collaborative leadership. She not only teaches it and is an exemplary teacher and mentor, but she lives it. She lives it every day, and you can ask any one of our staff. We all want to be just like her when we grow up. So without any further ado, I'd like you to welcome Gail to the podium.
Howdy. How's everybody? Good. It's great to see you all here. Celine, the Queen, has done magic again. And before I start, I'd like to have everybody give a round of applause to Celine and her team. Okay, so for those of you who know me pretty well, I'm looking at Cecilia, you know that I try to incorporate my love of music, especially the cello, into everything that we do. It's part of our staff meeting. It's part of our day-to-day life at the charities. And to me, music is a beautiful example of collaboration and expression and spiritual connection. There is one song which I am sure every single one of you in here knows and loves dearly. It is a wonderful example of collaboration between a poet and a musician. It all began in 1779 when an English poet and an Anglican clergyman, John Newton, published an important work that is now beloved around the world. Now, Newton was inspired to write this poem because he was in the Royal Navy, and he had had a harrowing experience in the Royal Navy, and he was actually calling out to God for mercy during an intense storm at sea. Now, Newton was coincidentally experiencing a spiritual transformation during the storm. And it was this experience that set the backdrop to what he ultimately wrote. However, in the true spirit of collaboration, we may never ever have known John Newton's work if it wasn't for another gentleman named William Walker. Now, I'm giving you clues. If you figure it out, don't tell your neighbor. William Walker's 1835 contribution, which was, 36 years later, Walker was from South Carolina, and he was working on what was called sheet music. Now, you all probably know sheet music if you saw that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Yes? Yes, okay. And do you know what defines sheet music? Anybody? There's only 4 notes. That's it. Now, as time went on with sheet music, it became the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, 7. But in the early days of sheet music, it was used because, especially in the 19th century, because you could teach people to sing without having to read music. And guess what? This was especially powerful for congregations and communal singing in general. So it was in the collaborative spirit that Walker joined Newton's poem to an old traditional song called New Britain. Anybody know it yet? No? Okay. Walker published this new hymn in his book called Southern Harmony. And that is the story of the humble beginnings of this rich and important icon that has become symbolic and even ritualized in both the spiritual and the secular worlds. So I'm absolutely positive that everyone in this room knows what this song is and loves it dearly, as I do, which I'll play in a few minutes. But first, I want to take the opportunity and use this as a metaphor and highlight for you why we do collaborative leadership. We do it because together with others, we can make powerful and impactful change. We can be social change agents, can't we? We can create change or merge things that seemingly can't be done, that look to be impossible. We can move mountains. We can move bureaucracies. We can achieve the impossible. We can strive for our dreams. Where's Dorothy? Dorothy. And what? We can dream big. That's Dorothy's talk. She taught us that, and it's on my office wall now. Dream big. We can stir people's souls. We can save lives. We can give hope, and we can make the world a better place. And we can make systemic change. And as we speak, right now at 10:18 this morning, Ellen Cohen and Gail McMorrow are handing out Breast Health Navigator certificates to 16 individuals who are right this minute graduating from the new program at the Houston Community College, made possible by a very powerful collaborative, and you might know some of the people in this room that are responsible for these individuals getting these certificates. The program is going to change lives. It's going to give these individuals a new skill and a new confidence to fulfill their calling. Because as the bishop said, we all got here by some kind of calling. And 2 of these women are breast cancer survivors, 2 of the 16. Partners for this collaborative include the Rose, the Charities, Avon Foundation, Komen Foundation, and the Breast Health Collaborative. And I think we have our new executive director here from the Breast Health Collaborative. Lynn, where are you? Hello, hello. There you are. As part of their training, they are setting up new breast health resources in 17 Texas counties. And for the breast health portal that the collaborative and the charities together have put together over the past few years. And this will be highlighted for you in a very short video. It's 8 minutes long. And I'd just like to thank in advance everybody that's a part of that video, but especially Dorothy Gibbons. She's the one that told me this story about these people, and the timing was so beautiful that right now, while we're here, they're there getting they're graduating from their Navigator program. And it's gonna change their lives. And what phrase that Dorothy used to me when we were looking to include a story about what was one of the powerful impacts of this collaborative, what Dorothy said was, imagine that these 16 individuals could go from navigator to nurse. And, so that their lives then become systemically changed for the better, and so do their families' lives. And to us, at the charities, that's really what we want to see. Even if we just impact one person, we want to make sure we change that one person's life, because guess what? That person's going to go change all their concentric circles in their lives. So anyway, we thought this would be a great idea to kick off our conference with our short video, and it does highlight the very successful example of collaborative leadership. We've nicknamed this the WOW video, and we hope that you are wowed and are inspired by the collaborative work, and that you feel proud to be part of this very incredible community of nonprofits that you all are, and we are proud that you're here. After the video, I'll come back and finish, and we'll have a handout. So if we could get the handout passed out while the video goes, and if you could run the video, we're ready. Thanks.
Breast cancer affects people around the globe. Some countries are harder hit than others. Breast cancer mortality rates are the highest in countries like Serbia, Belgium, Egypt, South Africa, Niger, Argentina. In the United States, over 40,000 women die each year from breast cancer. In Texas, over 15,000 women were diagnosed in 2010. That's almost the capacity of a Toyota Center basketball game. Houston is the 4th largest city in America, with a population of just over 6 million in the greater Houston area. Here, over 2,000 women were diagnosed with breast cancer in 2010. There are huge disparities between who gets the disease and who doesn't, who survives breast cancer, and who has less of a chance of beating the odds. How do we improve those odds? Help people achieve a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. The answer is collaboration, informed action, empowerment. True transformational change, body, mind, and spirit. Houston is the perfect incubator for big ideas, with over 40 colleges, universities, and other institutions of higher learning. Only New York City can claim more Fortune 500 headquarters. Houston is the global healthcare powerhouse. Our Texas Medical Center is the largest in the world. There's plenty of room for big ideas to grow in Houston. All they need is courage for them to become reality. St. Luke's Episcopal Health System and the Episcopal Diocese of Texas collaborated in 1997 to give birth to a really big idea: the St. Luke's Episcopal Health Charities, a one-of-a-kind mission-driven charity devoted to reducing health disparities within the most underserved and vulnerable populations throughout the Episcopal Diocese of Texas. Since then, we've had a few big ideas of our own. In April 2008, during the Big Idea exercise, Dr. Patricia Gale Bray, Executive Director of the Charities, challenged her team to dream big.
Imagine that the charities had an extra $1 million grant to give. I want to know what your one big idea would be of how that money could be best leveraged to benefit our community.
Celine Meyer, Charities Director of Grants and Evaluations, heard the challenge, and then she had her own big idea. Celine called,
Hey Dorothy, this is Celine. Listen, I've got an idea.
Dorothy Weston
Hi,
Gibbons,
Mrs. Dorothy.
the co-founder of the Rose.
Hi Celine.
At the time of Celine's call, excitement within the Rose leadership and staff was high. The one-of-a-kind breast health portal, a web-based interactive breast health resource center and virtual navigator, had just been launched by the charities. Her idea? What if the new breast health portal could be leveraged to connect more underserved people to breast health services within the community?
Wow, Celine. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
And Dorothy was working with organizations across the state to form the Breast Health Collaborative of Texas. The timing couldn't have been better. It was a convergence of big ideas. A woman's chances of surviving breast cancer are affected by a variety of social determinants. For instance, income level. Let's take two examples here in Houston. A higher income neighborhood. This census tract is in River Oaks, and a tract from one of the poorest neighborhoods. This tract is in Westwood. These two areas are about 6 miles apart. But the distance between them and access to insurance, access to screening, and access to treatment is miles apart. In River Oaks, the population is less than 9% minority. In Westwood, most of the people here are from minority populations. In the River Oaks tract, there's a total of 1,151 households. In Westwood, there are 1,180. The women in the Westwood tract are much more likely to be the single head of a household with dependent children. And there's a significant number of households in Westwood that are living below poverty. The women in River Oaks have more education, which definitely affects income. The median household income is dramatically different for the two populations. Families in River Oaks are able to save much more of their income. In Westwood, every penny that comes in is spent. The people in Westwood are 54% less likely to be insured than the people in River Oaks. And what does this all mean when it comes to breast cancer? The women in Westwood are 28 times more likely to die of breast cancer than the women in River Oaks. This is huge. The women in Westwood are 28 times more likely to die of this disease. Why? River Oaks women are getting diagnosed as soon as they have a problem. The women in Westwood are not. They're waiting until it's too late. What is the best way to make an effective change to this inequality in health? This is where the charity's research-informed grant-making is so important. Through our research, we're able to define what areas are the hardest hit and have the least amount of services and support. Thanks to the charity's research-informed grant-making and operational support, the original big ideas have multiplied. The Rose leveraged the charity's data to win additional funding for more mobile mammogram units, which will allow them to increase screenings to over 6,000 per year. The Texas Breast Health Collaborative has expanded from 35 to 272 members. With grants from both the Avon Foundation and St. Luke's Episcopal Health Charities, the collaborative has hired a full-time director and professional staff. The Rose, in partnership with the charities, was awarded a $1 million grant by the Cancer Prevention and Research Institute of Texas, or CPRIT, to expand the Empower Her program and reach underserved populations across 10 counties. The Seabrook grant will also further fund the Rose's innovative Health Navigator program, which it launched in 1999 with charities, leadership, and funding. Because of the effectiveness of our research-informed grant-making activities, Celine's original big $1 million idea has generated over $2 million worth of research and resources for the community. And it's given birth to partnerships between the charities and powerful groups such as Susan G. Komen for the Cure, the Avon Foundation, and Seabrook to deal with breast cancer. In Houston, in Texas, nationally, and around the world. And we're not just doing this with breast cancer. The big ideas generated by St. Luke's Episcopal Health Charities mean we are launching life-changing initiatives to impact obesity, homelessness, mental illness, and more. St. Luke's Episcopal Health Charities, advancing community health, body, mind, and spirit.
Thank you very much. And special thanks to Celine. It was her original big idea. And this was just an idea. We never had the money. We were just doing scenario planning. And we just said, okay, if we have $1 million, what are we going to do with it? And then look what happened. She called Dorothy, just like in the video. And the rest is history, as they say. So now, as most of you know, collaboration is one of our operating values of charities, and we got a couple of board members and past board members here, and they probably are responsible for this collaboration being actually one, it's in our bylaws, it's one of our operating values, and so how we've been able to operationalize that over the years has been a blessing to me personally, and to them hopefully too. You never know how it's going to come out, right? 15 years later, hopefully there's some evolution that we can all benefit from. So what's happened in the last few years, especially in the last 2 or 3 years since the Wall Street crash, is that we've been focusing much more on not just collaboration, but collaborative leadership. And so what does that mean? So I have a definition I'd like for us to start out with today for our conference, and put us all on the same sheet of music, as they say. Collaborative leadership embraces a process in which people with different views and perspectives come together. They set aside narrow self-interests and discuss issues openly and supportively. They invest in an attempt to find ways of helping each other to solve a larger problem or to achieve broader goals. It's an evidence-based strategy that has proven particularly effective in public health planning, and that involves multiple stakeholders who share a common interest. So that's kind of an ambitious goal, wouldn't you say? When you think about all of the different elements of what we have to do to make it happen and to make it successful. And not all of them are, of course, and maybe we'll hear some of that today about some of those ones that are more challenging. We have our challenges at the charities on some of the ones that haven't worked so well. But we believe that to be a successful nonprofit in today's world, you, our nonprofit leaders, all of you out here, need to be, and must be, in fact, engaged in collaboration. And that's what this conference is all about. That's why we wanted to do it here. So that was why it's our a little bit narrower theme than before. And so the purpose of our gathering today and tomorrow is to illuminate collaborative leadership and how it's rooted in advancing community health. So the specific objectives of this conference are to answer the following questions. What is collaborative leadership? Why collaborate? Who should collaborate? When should you collaborate, and when is it not appropriate? How is collaborative leadership different from other leadership styles? And I know that you would all be very disappointed if I didn't spend a few minutes on the more academic aspects of collaborative leadership. Do we get the handouts passed out? Okay, so turn to your handouts, please, and let me walk you through what I've called the 8x7 characteristics of collaborative leadership. Most of these concepts are pretty commonsensical, but we should credit the authors of the 1989 publication, Larson and LaFasto, and something at the bottom of your slide there. And it's from Teamwork, What Must Go Right and What Can Go Wrong. And the 8 steps to building an effective coalition are listed there. Number 1, you need a clear, elevating goal. Team goals must be very, very clear so that one can tell whether the performance objectives have been realized. In addition, the goal must be motivating so that the members believe it to be worthwhile and important. For example, providing breast health services to all people regardless of ability to pay is a pretty clear goal. Number 2, results-driven structure. Teams need to find the best structure for accomplishing their goals, and those structures change depending on the community and depending on the type of collaboration that you're putting together. For example, our Breast Health Collaborative needed a structure that emphasizes trust so that we all could be willing and able to make contributions and to take advantage of our independent and individual and institutional strengths and weaknesses. Number 3, we need competent team members. We need people who are all going to make a contribution. And the groups should be composed of the right number and the right mix. And that's right. You know, what does Sling say? Jim Collins, you quote him all the time, get the right people on the bus and in the right seat. So that's very important, and I can tell you from experience that that can make or break a collaborative. Members need certain teamwork factors such as openness, supportiveness, action orientation, and a positive personal style. I think positive orientation, optimism, it actually changes the energy level, and I think that's really important. Number 4, unified commitment. Collaboratives do not just happen out of thin air. You say, well, I want to put this together, and that happens a lot. Just networking and working together with people, and then things grow out of that. But for a true collaborative like the one that you just saw in the video, they have to be pretty carefully designed and developed and nurtured. And our Breast Health Collaborative benefited from Dorothy's leadership initially and her experience in already having really been a collaborative leader for a long, long time before we actually put all these different institutions together. So it's good to have a strong leader of a collaborative. It's okay to do that. Okay, number 5, collaborative climate. A collaborative climate is one in which members can stay problem-focused. And, you know, you have to keep your eye on that prize, and you're going to go for it no matter what barriers and complications arise. You need to listen, and you need to understand each other, and feel free to take risks and be willing to compensate for one another. Number 6, standards of excellence. Effective group norms are important for group functioning. Rules, boundaries, guidelines. All of those things help to keep us really focused on what we really want to try to accomplish. The standards must be clear and concrete, and all team members must be required to perform to those standards. So I think the most important standard is the respect, and that no matter who you are or where you are from, that you are respected. And lots of things can change if that's not there. Number 7, external support. Teams that are given the resources needed to do their jobs are recognized. They are thanked, quite frankly. They are publicly recognized for the team accomplishments and are rewarded for team performance rather than just individual performance. And finally, number 8, principled leadership. Some researchers propose that leadership is the central driver of team effectiveness and influencing the team through 4 sets of processes, including cognitive, motivational, affective, and coordination. In simple terms, what is it? Art and science of leadership, art and science of collaborative leadership. So on the back of your handout is a Centers for Disease Control and Prevention process called the community engagement. And I won't read through all of these, you can read them, but I wanted you to have them because even though some of this might just make common sense, if you hardwire it, as we do at St. Luke's with Clint Studer, if you hardwire these things, then it gives you a roadmap. You may never need that roadmap, but then again, if you have it in line, you set it up right in the beginning, it's going to save you from from some detours or cul-de-sacs that don't go anywhere. So community engagement involves collaboration between people who are in the same geographic area, who share special interests or are in similar situations. So it is really a mixture, truly, of art and science, and community engagement integrates the ideas of culture, community, coalition building, and collaboration. So, finally, we return to the metaphor of our song. So when Newton wrote it, and Walker merged it with the common melody, it was a time when people would sing together, and they would work together. This singing helped to build strong communities, strong relationships, and helped to build collaboration. In fact, they had to collaborate. They had so few resources. And oftentimes we've forgotten about that. And in fact, on my music at home, sadly, John Newton's name is not even mentioned. It says, Southern Harmony, William Walker. And I said, wow, that's too bad, because I went to check. So I want you all to remember to give credit where credit is due, and that it was actually Newton and Walker together that gave us this most ethereal song. And I'm going to play just a few seconds of it, don't worry.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Did anybody guess it? Yeah. You did? Of course, there's 10 million versions of this song every year played, and we listen to all of them at home to pick one for you. Actually, there was a group of informal shape singers that sang Amazing Grace in the 4 notes. And I didn't choose that one. I know it's more collaborative, but Judy Collins, nothing can beat her. So if you're interested, just Google her on iTunes and you can download it for yourself. But now I know that you all here have big ideas. At least we have 94 ideas in this room at least. And with all of our multiple organizations represented, I know that the possibilities here can truly be amazing. So have a great time all day today and tonight, tomorrow. And I hope to talk to every single one of you. And if you don't get to have enough time with anybody, I think we've got emails and stuff like that, and we're always available. So thank you so much, and have a good time.
Thank you, Gail. Gail's presentation and all the others will be up on our website for you to view and download. I was especially taken with Gail's inspirational quote when she said, "We do collaboration because together with others we can make a powerful and impactful difference, and that together we can merge things that seemingly cannot be done." You know, we know it's hard. We know it's very hard to do collaboration. And we know the first step is the hardest, and sometimes it's the scariest. But like the bishop said, you don't have to do it alone if you're open to receiving. So now I'd like to go over the conference goals. But first I would like to introduce the charity staff, because they are the team that made this possible. And we have Cheryl Barmacy over here. Hey, Cheryl. Mariana Acosta. Lisa Mendoza. And Tony Brown. And Troy Bush, who will be emceeing one of our later sessions for us. consultant, Tiffany Travis, who is our answer to my prayer. So thank you, Tiffany. Our goals for this conference are, number one, to provide an environment where each of you can experience a spiritual renewal or perhaps even a recommitment to service. To engage nonprofit leaders in collaboration by providing co-learning opportunities with peers and other diverse stakeholders. To encourage the development of big ideas to solve common challenges and increase impact. We look forward to receiving your evaluations to see if we accomplish these goals. So moving along to our icebreaker. As you know, we have seated you strategically at certain tables. We want to get a mix going here. And for today, we want you to think of your table as a collaborative. So take the next 15 minutes to introduce yourselves to each other, but don't just talk about your organization. Talk about yourself and your skills and your passions. The Da Vinci puzzles that are on the table will serve as your first collaborative exercise. So while you're talking, you're going to be doing something too. And since Da Vinci was an artist and a scientist, get it? Art, science. We thought it would be really cute to make him a part of this event. And each one of these puzzles has a collaborative piece to them because some of you have a drawbridge, some have an aerial screw, which is the helicopter model, or a model for a helicopter, and the paddle boat, which all take collaborative, people have to collaborate to make these work. Get it? So please begin with your exercise, and we'll let you know when the 15 minutes are up. I'll let you come up and announce that. Thank you.
Our vocabulary words are the stern, behind, bow, the front, propel, the drive. And I think we skip that. Okay, so, all right, you've done the first step. The second step is to put the seats in, 3 in the stern and 2 in the bow. And it looks like the front one's different. Back to work this week is very therapeutic.
But why did you do all this?
I don't know why. I think, well, I mean, I think when I was an undergrad and taking biotechnology classes, we had a course on business and biotechnology.
And some works I installed and screwed down.
Time's up. Time's up. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Well, how many of you completed the puzzle? Oh, great, How many of you met someone you didn't know before, or learned something you didn't know about one of your table or some of your table mates? Great. Did y'all realize that you might need to recruit some additional skill sets at your table? At your collaboration, I should say. Great. Okay, well, thank you. We're going to take a 10-minute break, but first I wanted to recognize Molly Ford. I inadvertently left her out of the and also acknowledge Cecilia. She's with Hexa Group, who helped us put together that fabulous video. Thank you. So let's take a 10-minute break and be back here at 11:10 for our leadership luminaries, and Gail will moderate. The snacks are still out there in the hallway, and feel free to go and get some at any time. Thank you.
That's what I was thinking. I'm going to go buy a couple of those. I'm not going to buy this one.
Victor, she said I was in the way.
No, I was the one that she was doing a good job, but then I put my knee on this thing.
Say rock.